All right, testing, testing. All right, we are back with microphone. Sorry about that, y'all. We had noise in the background and I didn't want my microphone to pick it up. And then I needed to get my coat, and then the background stopped while I was getting my coat, so we're all good now. Now we're in chapter 37, Farah's point of view. I need a horse, she demanded to the horse handler. Her sudden approach with confusion. You just finished the rest period. He argued. Are you sure? She wasn't sure how the elder intended to let people know about the fires. And declaring one without approval, without the right forethought, might cause more harm than good. So she decided not to tell him the truth. I am sure, she declared. I'll be going on a ride with the man who saved me. I'm keeping an eye out for our scouts who haven't yet returned, she explained. She explained as much as she could without revealing the urgent nature. Of her request. I'm sure they'll be back soon. The handler said, what's the word? Not dubiously. Suspiciously? Skeptically. And skeptical of the reasoning. But he untethered a horse and handed a white and brown spotted. A white horse with brown spots. Brown spots. Speckles. Remus and handed the reins. To her. But if you see that let them know that we have big concern. Farah accepted the reins with a nod. While she wished she could him about the fires. She figured she would find out soon. And she said she Remus toward the exit of the caravan. If he knew that there was an emergency event happening, a sudden event on the horizon, he would not allow her to borrow the horse. She was surprised. She was surprised when the guard who had remained behind didn't argue the need for her to have a horse. Given that he knew the tribe would need all of them. Maybe it was because he figured that the horses would be able to carry the scouts to safety if they were injured. If anyone tried to challenge her against the horses, she might need to bring that up. Excuse me. No one stopped her as she exited the camp. However, on the other side of the wagons was Nick on his chestnut mare, and off to the side. Green, the one who had gone to inform the elder of the situation, of the fires, had not yet returned. Excuse me. Dang it. I'm just very yawny. Had not yet returned. Mounting Remu. Remu or Remus? I literally have it in these paragraphs. I can't. Remus. Okay. Mounting Remus. She gave a nod. Do you have provisions? Yes. I have some left from the generous gift the village provided. But I don't know if you'll the entire time. Farah cursed mentally at the oversight. She was focused on getting the horse and going to find the scout. only would she need to ensure that she ate properly. I'll be check. Where is any position? Like she was working this. Do this. In near starvation. That she would be prepared to follow Nick's lead and bring them back to some semblance of normalcy. I do not. She did. I will go back. Yeah. The guard said, we've got some food stationed here. So we don't need to leave our posts during the day. Okay, probably not. But probably not humid, but it should suffice. I don't think if we're evacuating, I don't think there will be a lot of provisions to send along. Anyway, many things will probably be left here, including some of the pot, including many of the tilled plants. He said, referring to the plants whose roots were embedded in the soil within the camp. We could ask the elder, whose name I forgot. The other option is ask the elder. Claire said, I don't think we've got time. I don't think either he or I have the time to spare for that. And I think you're right. He likely will be reluctant to share nutrient provisions with the tribe as a whole may need the next days to come. Gave an affirmative nod, and then went to the nearby. He dug her out. After some digging around, he came back with a half-filled sack. Some dried meat and cheese. Mostly so I did there is a hunk of my bread inside too. He explained. No more provisions. Sorry. Fair nodded. This is just like me packing for a trip. Do we have this? Yes. Do we have this? No, but I'll get it for you. Do we have this? Oh no, I forgot. And then began to dismount. Where are you going? He asked. Nodded, trying to understand. Nodded. I need my water skin. She explained. I'm going to put now and ensure it is as full and fill it every chance we get. I won't let it empty. Tom shook his head again. Shook his head one more time. Don't worry about getting that. Here. He pulled a large water skin out of the wagon and handed it over. Hey Ty Sheet, how's it going? Don't worry about it. Nothing's in it, so you'll need to fill it at the next river you come across. At the next creek you come across. But it'll let you get moving quicker. I'll take the one that's in your tent if we need to break the camp. Good. Taking a break. A work break? Study break? What kind of break? Sarah appreciatively took the water skin and bowed her head in thanks. Thank you. She immediately tied it to her and remounted near us. We were working on installing. Ooh, that sounds fun. Is it like going to be a kitchenette for like cooking for parties, or is it going to be like a bar kitchenette? had no weapons on her. Oh, I see. Well, then that is kind of nice for the renters. She had no weapons on her, but she wasn't worried about that. Right now, if there was impending doom, she was certain Lady Swords would be more worried about protecting themselves than looking for a fight. Well, the in-laws are jumping. Okay. Well, I'm sure they would appreciate a little kitchenette too. Right now, if there's impending doom, she was certainly supposed to be more worried about protecting themselves. Looking for a fight for no reason. Although she could. Sec. Although she could think of reasons why they might want to fight, it would likely be a scenario where all parties had a disadvantage. Advantage of some sort. She just hoped that none of those potential scenarios would come to fruition. Alright. I think that's good for chapter 37. About 10-ish more minutes. Give me a second to figure out chapter 38 real quick. When I jump to 38, this text on the screen is going to go white probably, so apologies for that. Even though we've got less than 10-ish minutes left, if there are 5 viewers, I will go ahead and expand it to half a page. But for now, we're jumping down. Oh, there's still text on the preview. Cool. Alright. Chapter 38. Still kind of figuring out where we're going with this. You know what? I'm going to actually add a little bit more to 37. With a nod to Nick, both she and the Sirogi healer took their leave of the Alderian village, making their way northwest to his village. Alright. Okay, Yep. There it is. Fufon declared proudly to the woman who was riding beside him. Deja squinted her eyes and raised herself up an inch on Novius's back, trying to see what the knight captain was referring to off in the distance. Referring to off in the distance, she could barely make out a line of shadows that were peppering the horizon. Indeed, he said, watching her reaction with amusement. It's so tiny, she said. I know it's far away, but I thought the first images of the kingdom's capital, I can't type, capital of the kingdom would be larger. As we get closer, it'll become more majestic. The older man promised. How much longer? She asked. Finally, the city and its secrets were almost within her reach. Nearly half a to reach it. Maybe another portion of the day, and then to go from the outer wall from the wall to the keep, to the castle. There's another full day. That long? Deja looked at him with surprise. On horseback? He chuckled again, this time with a shake of his head. Sadly, yes. This kingdom has been around for centuries. Oh, I can't type. Has been around for centuries. And just kept building out. Between the size of the border, between the size of the kingdom, and the streets that sometimes make no sense as you traverse them. It can take time to find your way around. Perhaps that's the only downside. Right here, he said in reflection. Why not just build a thoroughfare? Why not just build a street? Goes directly from the wall gate to the castle. The gate, as it stands now, is in a different spot than when the castle was first erected. Coupon explained. It's 6, but I'm gonna keep going because I want to introduce the next part of the next, well, not chapter, but the next segment. I gotta get through this part first. The gate, as it stands now, is in a different spot than when this was first erected. If we were to create a path between the two locations, many buildings would be destroyed. She thought literally, but said nothing. All right. Okay. Now we're going to start this portion of the chapter. We're introducing a new character, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So, oh, then we got the light. Alright, so... Lemon... relaxed on the top of a roof. Lemon relaxed on the top of a roof. His back warm against the chimney of the building he was resting on. A bakery he had begun. He had been working for as an apprentice. Not too long ago. He often liked to take breaks and come up here to view. Come up here since the bakery was on shit, I mentioned it all, didn't I? Kind of that point. It's fine. Was near the kingdom's gate. Yeah, that's what editing's for. I'll worry about that later. You got to see all sorts of people that came in from the surrounding villages and farms. rarely. Other kingdoms or nations. Right now, even the only time when there was extra presence of the night guard was when those visitors from other kingdoms paid Francia a visit. Right now, not only were the night guard presence larger. Right now, not only was the night guard presence more active than usual, but it appeared no. Wait, I'm gonna only was higher. No, here we go. Right now, not only was the night guard presence high enough to make him think they were getting a visitor from another nation, but the presence was actually higher than that. A smile crossed his face. The person he'd been waiting for would finally arrive. Alright, I don't know how you write over 25,000 words. I don't think I've ever written over 2K before. It's just a matter of just writing. I had some slip-ups this year just because of vacation and like some days where I was really tired and just couldn't write. But then when I do actually get writing, it's just a matter of getting those words out, and honestly, sometimes you just gotta cheat. If you got a word that's a compound word, or rather a contraction, so like isn't, you type out is not, and then you got 2 words instead of 1, and that adds up over time. But yeah, having a schedule, quote unquote schedule, because I kind of don't this year, but having a schedule, wanting to stream, to do this for Baby DJ, it helps me to make sure that I do at least do something and get the writing done, and then as long as I'm doing something, I'm able to bang the words out. My goal was 3,000 words a day, but that hasn't been met. So now I'm just aiming for as many words as I can get done, and then just make up for it on like Saturdays or whenever I have longer stretches of time. I mean, more the creativity to be able to continue to write. I mean, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, right? Some people are more logic-minded. Some people have flights of fancy, and I take those flights of fancy and I write them. You should hear some of my dreams sometimes. They are wild. And I take them and I use them to write. I hate editing, though. So that's why all of my stories will probably never get published. But yeah, I love writing. I love taking the imaginations that I've got in my head and putting them into story form, even if there are like 20 chapters in between the points that I want to get to. But that's what editing is for, if I do go back and edit. my serious no English professor wanted to critique that. I mean, fair. What is this word? How is it supposed to be pronounced? How is it supposed to be spelled? I totally get that. Just because I've seen the seen it on the physics end, so yeah. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and wrap it up now so we can start preparing for the dinners. My first A in an English class was in college with that approach because I got to pick the topics. Well, there you go. Sounds like it worked out well for you. Alright, let's see what the word count is real quick. Woohoo! 29,000 words. So we got about 2,000 written in an hour. That's not bad. A little over an hour. And I bet that topic was something that you were more intimately familiar with and more interested in, so it was probably easier to write that topic too. That is another secret, is having the interest in it. If I wasn't interested in writing, then I definitely wouldn't be as verbose as I tend to be. I always had to be, yes. Especially if you weren't into the book. Going back to the whole interest thing, but like oh gosh, what was it? The Scarlet Letter or Wuthering Heights, like those books bored me to death, and I hated doing any of the follow-up work on it, whether it was a test or writing a paper about it. It was not great. Now The Lottery, that was a good one. I enjoyed that one, but but writing papers about books is also kind of weird because sometimes the teachers are looking for certain things, like what's the book about, or what were some of the hidden symbolisms in the book, yada yada yada. Wise Blood, I haven't heard of that one. Look that one up. Flannery O'Connor, why does that name sound familiar? About a World War II vet who returns home to find his family abandoned and decides to found a anti-religious ministry called the Church Without Christ. Why do I feel like that's actually a real thing that happened? Reads like an acid trip. Oh, so kind of like oh, Great Gatsby. If I had to say one of my books was an acid trip, Great Gatsby would probably be it. What else did Flannery O'Connor write? Sounds familiar. Okay, so it's a she. Interesting. That's a name we can bring back, is Flannery. The name sounds familiar, but I've never read her notable works, which is Wise Blood, The Violent Bear It Away, and A Good Man is Hard to Find. Great Gatsby is like 2025. I mean, sort of, except it was... Oh, when did he write it? Hold on. F. Scott Fitzgerald, I think, wrote it. $1925 is Great Gatsby. The Stranger by Albert Camus. Themes of absurdism and existentialism. Interesting. This kind of reminds me, like looking at just the AI summary from the Goog, it reminds me a little bit of Gulliver's Travels, just because of the absurdism and existentialism. Obviously, they're not the same thing at all between the two novels. I think... And also the location probably has something to do with it too. I wonder if Camus grew up in Algeria. Albert Camus. Okay, that makes sense. Honestly, any book that makes you think is a pretty good book, so that is pretty cool. Alright, but I do need to go ahead and, excuse me, hop off. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for chatting about books and writing a little bit with me, Ty. One sec. Man, I hate when that comes out of nowhere. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for now. I'm going to rest and relax. No idea if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I'll try to get something in before dinner. Might be 15 minutes, might be an hour. We'll see. And yeah, you all have a good evening, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.